Hello again and welcome to Tommie Media's Tommie Chalk Talk, where we go beyond the box score and take a closer look at St. Thomas sports. My name is Jake Remes, alongside me Tom Pitzen. So Tom, St. Thomas comes off a huge win against St. John's, beating a team that they face every year for the second time. What did you see in this team this week? What does it say about Glenn Crusoe's Tommies to be able to beat St. John's twice?
Well, Jake, we talked about this in an earlier edition, is St. Thomas had kind of trouble starting slowly and then building off of that, specifically in the second half, kind of running away with the game. In this game, St. Thomas really took control from the onset and then were able to run down the clock with Jordan Roberts, play their game, play what they want to do, because they weren't, in that dogfight of trying to battle back or, keep a one-score game tight. They were able to get out early, which I think is important in playoff football.
Something they haven't done a ton of this year against good opponents.
Yes, exactly. And against these good opponents, you want to stick to your game. You don't want to rely on John Gould to throw downfield to Bradley or Gilliland. Certainly he's capable of doing that, but your identity is a big offensive line and Jordan Roberts cutting and running through those holes that they create.
Yeah, it is. It reminds me of the Vikings a little bit. Teddy Bridgewater can jump in when he needs to, but AP is the bread and butter. But they face a really tough opponent this week, Wabash out of Indiana, who is two of the Tommies and Wabash are two of five teams that average over 40 points a game and keep opponents to under 10 points a game. Tom, they're facing a mirror image of themselves. How do you approach a game like this?
I mean, you see it every day in practice. You look at the two running backs, Mason Zurich for Wabash, and then Jordan Roberts. They're pretty similarly built. They both go around 6 feet, 225. Obviously very mobile, but this Tommie's team is built around their offensive line and their defensive line. If you can control them up front, you can get your own running game going, and if you can control Wabash up front with your defensive line, you can shut down really their main means of offensive attack, which is turning around and handing the ball to an absolute beast in that backfield.
Right, and they face, again, talking mirror images again with Jordan Roberts and Mason Zurich. They're two very similar guys, but you're right, because if they can shut down Mason Zurich and make this team pass, we haven't seen them do that, or we haven't seen them play. So we'll see. I don't know what their passing attack is like, so we'll see if the Tommies can force them to do so. Well, again, back to go ahead.
Well, and Jake, too, we just did that to a team in St. John's. We knocked out Nick Martin before halftime, and then we forced them to go to their backup quarterback, and really shutting down Sam Sura for 2 weeks in a row, relatively speaking, for 2 weeks in the season. We shut him down, relatively speaking. We forced them to go to their passing attack, which is something that St. John's really didn't want to do. Again, their game plan is turn around, give it to Sam Sura, have him grind it out. When you can force a team to do something that they're not really comfortable at, you have a great shot to win.
Sure, absolutely. I mean, coming back to this mirror image concept we were talking about earlier, the battle between Jordan Roberts and the powerhouse out of Wabash, how do you see this playing out for St. Thomas, who has, again, been able to be defensively sound all year, keeping teams under an average of 10 points? How are they going to handle this situation?
It's gang tackling, really. You can't have one person tackle a 225-pound back. I mean,
unless you're Eric Sutton, maybe.
Unless you're Eric Sutton, which we do have tough players up front. Winter was just named MIAC Defensive Player of the Year. Right. Obviously, Sutton is very good. Anthony King-Foreman led the conference in sacks. Jesse Addo, we know about him, the terror off the edge. And really, those other linebackers, Steve Harrell has played out of his mind. He has been very good. But you have to swarm to the ball carrier and don't let him get those yards after contact.
Sure, it truly will be a battle up front, I think. Powerful teams always are strong in the line side of things, but you're right, there are guys like Anthony King-Foreman, Jesse Addo. I will say, from playing Anthony King-Foreman in high school, he definitely has a switch he can turn on for beast mode, as Marshawn Lynch likes to call it.
This will be a really good game, Jake. I mean, it's going to be cold weather, maybe not 20 degrees as cold it's been the past couple of weeks, but it's playoff football. You control the tempo of the game. I think it'll be a clock battle. I think it'll be long, sustained drives, keeping the other offense off the field as a way to neutralize that running game.
Right, and it's not St. John's, so the mental game isn't there as much with the pressure of beating your rival. So
well, and it's an unknown opponent. I'm sure Glenn Crusoe and his staff will scout them they're famous for their scouting. And I'm sure they'll get a sense of what kind of offense Wabash runs, what kind of formations, all the little nuances of a football game. But it's an unknown opponent now.
Right. And another quick note about this team, their head coach also 8 seasons in, just like Glenn Caruso, and they have the same record, actually, Tom. Glenn Caruso just has 7 more wins and 1 more loss. So
mirror images again.
That's what it is, really. Well, thanks for joining us. If you have a question or concern, tweet it to @TommieMedia, and we'll see you next time in Tommie Media's Tommy Chalk Talk.